I could have spent this entire shoot on location. We saw so many incredible places.
I know I'm a Kiwi, but I have to say I cannot imagine making these films anywhere but this country.
Amazing. Wherever we went, it was an extraordinary experience. And here we were making a film.
Go, go, go!
A New Zealand film, The Hobbit.
It's been thrilling to go back and go up and down both the main islands of New Zealand. And we began in Hobbiton.
When we first discovered the location, Hobbiton, back in 1998, there were 3 geographical things that made us choose it as Hobbiton.
We needed a distinctive tree set in rolling hillside, ideally with a little lake and a hill behind the tree rising up to give us the position of bagging.
It looked like Hobbiton. You know, it just looked like a place where people actually lived and people worked.
The highlights have definitely been watching Hobbiton from the air, which is something that I don't think was really done on Lord of the Rings. Seeing it like this kind of living model village is just extraordinary.
The original Hobbiton set was built out of polystyrene, and even though we had to take it away, which I thought it was a shame, it actually wouldn't have survived. Of course, doing The Hobbit now, it gave us the ability to rebuild Hobbiton out of permanent materials.
And it's been made to last out of materials that aren't going to deteriorate, and we can carry on showing people what's involved in making a movie.
People who've seen the films can go and relive them by actually knocking on Bilbo's door.
Or you can just look and see there's no having to finish the illusion. It's just here.
Camp here for the night. Billy, Killy, look after the ponies.
Denise Bluffs is its volcanic activity has brought the rock up out of the ground, and there's these huge shafts of rock.
It looked like something from Jurassic Park.
You can't do any helicopter shots coming over from the back because it's behind it's just ply and
scaffold.
But it'll all come out, I think, in a couple of weeks.
And then there's going to be a permanent one put in place for as a tourist attraction.
The beautiful rock formations, cliffs, and then down, down, down into the most incredible bush.
It seemed ancient. There were lots of moss on all the great rocks. It seemed incredibly old.
It's a lot of native bush in that area. It's a stunning location.
In this area, which is the Twizel area, we managed to get a bunch of shots up on a hill above Lake Pukaki.
It was a beautiful vista, like it was long, wheaten-coloured kind of grass, and we'd to be running through it and being chased by wargs.
The landscape is really interesting geographically. We're being chased by these terrible monsters. It's just everything you could hope for in an epic adventure.
I took a photo that I sent to some friends.
Dwarves on vacation.
And they refused to believe that this was an actual photograph, that I hadn't photoshopped it. That place doesn't exist. And I was standing it.
Here we are at base camp, ready for the big push to Rangi, Mount Cook.
Behind us here is Mount Cook, which is New Zealand's highest mountain. It's where Sir Edmund Hillary trained to climb Mount Everest. It's a little less than half the height of Everest, so he basically had to climb Mount Cook twice, and he sort of had practice for Everest, basically.
Very, very beautiful, huge open spaces. Lovely wildflowers, I remember go along all the roads, like just all kind of colours.
We hit it at this time of year where these incredible variety of shades of purple lupins just, you know, springing up everywhere. Nearly everyone on the crew has said it was like doing a recce for an amazing road trip they're going to do in the future.
They always say don't leave home till you've seen the country. Now I've seen the country and I'm pretty blown away by it.
So, Strathtyre, central Otago, a pretty remote location. We wanted to use this location primarily because it's a chase through the rocks, wargs, after the dwarves. So I love the idea of doing a chase that was that spread out over a huge landscape.
This is glorious about this place, is you can do 360 degrees. There's not a satellite dish in sight.
You know, when we all went to Queenstown, I'd never been there before, and it was just astonishing. I mean, a beautiful jewel, really at kind of the bottom of the world.
Queenstown, a famous holiday place here, but we escape the crowds and go up the lake and into the mountains, and that's perhaps my favourite spot.
Earnshaw Burn was probably one of my favourite locations, a gorgeous alpine sort of valley surrounded by waterfalls.
The place was alive with these incredible cascades. We're very lucky to go to some extraordinary locations.
A lot of the world's impression of New Zealand is that landscape. You know, the rolling hills and the mountains and the fjords. It's got everything in it.
It's real, it's the real countryside. But at first you think, wow, what a good job they made. But it's not, it's the real thing.
This is the Middle-earth I would always have pictured.
Meanwhile, the backdrop is so beautiful, people will think it's CGI. It looks too perfect. You can use that as an advert for New Zealand if you want. I mean, succinct, snappy, all positive, and cut. Brilliant, trademark.